Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 23, sorry, of our wonderful series of natural health and astrology by Laurie and myself, Annabelle Fraser. I'm a naturopath and health coach. I specialize in women's digestive health. And we are here today to talk about this month's new moon. So it's the last new moon of 2021. So a very significant one. And I love the theme that Laurie has for us today. And I have some useful info to share with you on how you can support your emotions using essential oils based on what Laurie has to share with us. So over to you, Laurie.
Hi there, I'm Laurie Barnes. I am an astrologer and psychotherapist. I focus on helping people set their goals, which is the theme of today's new moon. And so the timing is just so perfect this year. You know, the new moon doesn't always fall, right after the first day of the year, but it just so happens that it does this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited too. It's a more serious new moon, but it really fits nicely with the time of the year and kind of like what we're all experiencing right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So let me give you the details. It's a Capricorn new moon, and the new moon falls on Sunday, January the 2nd for the United States and for Europe. So if you're on the west coast of the US, it'll be 10:30 in the morning. And if you're on the east coast of the US, around 1:30 in the afternoon. And in Rome, where we are, of course, I'm not there at this very moment, but normally I'm there.
Yeah.
It's
with us in spirit.
That's right, in spirit, for sure. So around 7:30 p.m. in Rome. And this is Sunday, so the day after the new year. And just a reminder, I've said this before, probably not every video. I want to be sure to say that when you do new moon intentions, it's really important to do it under the new moon phase. So you don't want to do it before. So you might even just want to wait until during the week. And this is one of those new moons, and what the theme is, set 2022 in motion with strategy. And so I would say you don't have to do this one all in one shot. As a matter of fact, I recommend taking your time. Take the whole new moon phase, which is, until mid-month, until the full moon, to really kind of like lock down on what you want to accomplish or manifest in 2022. So that's why it's just so cool that it's falling the day after the new year. It's Capricorn. Capricorn is a very serious sign. It's a determined sign, known for tenacity. And so it really puts our feet on the ground. This is a very grounded new moon. It's the element of earth. It's what you can see, touch, feel. So this is a great kind of energy to do your goal setting for the year. Sometimes Saturn can be quite heavy, and I think that we are experiencing collectively this heaviness of the new variant, and there's been some increase in lockdowns and restrictions. That's very Saturnian, and we're all hopeful that this isn't going to be like the ones that we experienced. Well, for sure not like 2020 and even 2021. I hopefully will see this year as learning to live with COVID. I know that there's been a lot of talk about that. And that's really what I think this new moon is about individually. And that as we're doing our goals and our strategies for what we want to accomplish and manifest in 2022, that this is a time to start thinking about, what does that look like for you? How are you living the new normal? And rather than dealing with restrictions or lockdowns, it's learning to make that part of your life. And what are you going to do to get back to what can be normal for you, but maybe in a different way that just accepts that things have changed. And so how do I have my new normal? What does that look like? Yeah. At the same time, we have this Venus retrograde, and I know I talked about that in the last couple of videos. I wrote a whole blog on Venus retrograde. If you're not on my email list, you can check out my website, loribarnesastrology.com. I have a lot of information about Venus retrograde there, so I won't talk too much about it on the video. It's just important to know that it's happening. And so there is this looking backwards energy happening at the same time that we're wanting to look forward. That's just, as a society, that's what we do. When the new year comes around, it's like we think about the whole year. And Saturn is a long-term, the planet's about long-term things. It's not about short-term, and it's about long-lasting things. So that's when you're doing your goal setting, definitely think long-term, definitely think 2022. And I like to have long-term goals and short-term goals. You could even think that 2022 is your short-term goals. It's like your action plan. Your long-term goals are like these bigger, like achievement kind of goals that aren't really, that have like a lot of small steps that you have to do to get there, and some big steps to get there. It's like the overall goal, like, I want to have launched 3 products by the end of the year. Well, that's not like one thing that you do. That's a lot of steps that you have to do to get there. So, and then like long-term goals are 3, 5, 10, 20 years out. So if you think ahead, like, where do I want to be in the future? And then do your 1-year goals. It's like, what do I have to do this year that's going to push me in that direction?
Okay.
That's what, this is a really, really good time to do that. And that's why I was saying that this isn't something that you will probably do in one sitting. So you might start this on Sunday evening, or it's totally fine to wait and do this during the week, when you get home from work, or maybe a little bit in the morning, or carry a notepad with you. And when you start thinking about things that you want to accomplish this year, put it down, so that when you sit down to maybe do your final version of it, you have all these notes that are ready to go. Thursday is also a really nice day to do it, Thursday and Friday, because the moon will have traveled along to Pisces, and it's just a nice creative sign. And so that those could be really good days to really work on this project. So yeah, just take your time, think long term. You can definitely do your intention setting like usual for the month of January. I would just make sure to include a longer term type of goal setting. Do your 2022 goals. And if you have never done long-term goals, try to jot down 3 to 5. This isn't the long-term strategy, the 3, 5, 10, 20 year idea of the long-term goals. That shouldn't be super long. There should be maybe at the most 5, but I think 3 is a good number. Maybe you want to have a family, be married, or maybe you want to have traveled to 20 countries in 20 years. Those are like really big goals. And then what can you do this year to help move yourself in that direction?
So between 3 to 5 goals for our long-term vision, let's say for 5, 10, 20 year from now. And then how many would you recommend for just the short term, like as in this year coming?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways you can do that. You can do like monthly goals, kind of like benchmarks, which you can have like the little celebrations, which are super important for goal setting. So it doesn't feel like, you have to wait 20 years. You want to have little celebrations along the way. So what would you like to have at the month, January, February, March? And then you could also do quarterly goals. And then for the, when you get to monthly, and it depends on who you are and how detailed you are. It's not super rigid. Like you have to kind of like instinctually know what works for you in terms of your lists of things to do. But I like to think of the 1-year goals as more of an action plan, where you get more detailed, where you have more benchmarks, and then you break it down. Usually monthly or quarterly works well. But if you're so inclined, if you're very, Virgo-like and detail-oriented, you might want to do weekly goals. Just remember to keep it loose. Like these are, or I should say loose for the whole year. You could be very detailed in your first couple of months, but for the things that are 3, 6, 9, 12 months out, you want to reevaluate them maybe every quarter, or every time you do your monthly new moon intentions, you're like, oh, I have to update that because what I've learned, excuse me, is that I have to readjust my timing. So definitely, we have to be flexible and able to adjust ourselves according to how things unfold. And we also have to hold ourselves accountable. And that's a balancing act. So I do talk about that a lot. But that's not really for this particular new moon. This one is just about setting down what it is that you want to manifest.
It'd be probably quite a good way to help keep yourself accountable by listening to these videos that we do for every new moon, right? Because we do one for every new moon and every full moon. And maybe, we could use the moment of the new moon and listening to kind of the information that you and I are sharing during that particular video, and taking inspiration from that, maybe to review every month the goals that we've set ourselves at the beginning of the year, potentially, because I think it's quite hard to kind of keep yourself accountable on your own, and time just goes and you forget, and then it's like suddenly June and you haven't achieved what you set out, you can't even remember what you wrote down and stuff. So I think it's quite good either to, you either have a coach, or you use a tool like this, like these kind of regular check-ins with us.
Absolutely, totally agree. And now you have me thinking that maybe I should start a private Facebook group for anyone who wants to do that kind of work monthly. I've been thinking about that anyway. And I have an offer right now for goal setting for the new year, where we do this using some astrology. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely check out. Actually, set it for my email, because it's only for people on my email list. It's not on my website. It's going to be an email offer that I will send quite a few emails about in January, February.
And if people want to sign up for your email list, if they want to be on your email list, what should they do?
They should go to loribarnesastrology.com and sign up. Okay. There's like a little thing at the bottom of every page, and it's pretty easy to find the sign up form. Yeah. Okay. I really, this is probably the main focus that I take in my practice, is kind of helping people realize what it is that you want to do, and then how do you get there. So this is a great time of the year to really get involved in those types of activities.
Yeah, I agree. Also in my work, mine's much more focused on health. Yours is much broader, and you're very much like a life coach almost, aren't you, in terms of, and a business coach in terms of how you help people. I'm focused on health, and that's, I always help people establish some goals at the beginning of their process, their program with me, because I think it's, as you would agree with me, it's really important to have an objective, isn't it, when you start working on yourself in whatever way it is, whether it's lifestyle in general, health, your career, relationships, etc. And then you really get that sense of fulfillment when you're near the end of your process, that you've changed, you've actually made some progress, and that's a really great feeling. I think it's really important to have that.
Yep, I totally agree. Yeah,
I'm gonna just share about the essential oil that I have in mind for this new moon, and for this theme of goal setting. It's a doTERRA blend called Motivate, which is it's a really fresh, minty, citrusy oil. It's very invigorating when you smell it, when you have it in the diffuser, or when you smell it, directly from the bottle or from your hands. And as the name would suggest, it's really helpful at just getting us motivated and inspired and focused, especially towards the end of the year, when we're already feeling, especially this year's been pretty heavy, as the last 2 years have been for most people. So it can kind of dampen our spirits sometimes, and bring our energy levels down, especially during the winter and everything. So this kind of this oil is a brilliant one in general, even if you just want to get back into your exercise routine, and you need some motivation to get up and getting physical again. But this would be an oil that I would recommend diffusing whilst you're focusing on your setting your goals for 2022. It'll just really help you in that vision, and whilst also boosting your belief in yourself, and your helping you just unleash your creativity also, because this is a really lovely time to be open, just be, to be, not limit yourself in any way in terms of what you think you can achieve during this year and beyond. I'm sure, Laurie, you agree with me. It's just to not hold back, right? And just to kind of give yourself this opportunity to feel motivated and inspired and hopeful and positive. And the Motivate blend, I would really recommend pairing that with this process.
That sounds perfect. I keep having this word refreshing come to mind as you were talking about it, which has a lot to do with any kind of retrograde, because we use the RE, any words that start with RE for retrogrades, just because you're doing, looking backwards to go forwards, and you're refreshing things, you're reworking things, and that's a perfect combination. That goes so well with the mood of this new moon. So I love citrus oils. They are very invigorating.
Well, this one, I mean, combined with the peppermint tones, and there's a lot of other oils in there, but it's a very unique scent, and it definitely works. I've used it even just to kind of motivate myself to get down to work, when I'm feeling unfocused and I'm procrastinating, when I put that in the diffuser, and it really helps get you in tune with what you need to be doing.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you some ideas for what to do for setting your new moon intentions. One thing about goal setting that can be helpful for you because you want your goals to be realistic, right? And especially with Saturn. Saturn really wants you to be practical and realistic. So if you haven't heard of this before, a lot of you probably have SMART goals. And so you can run your goals through the SMART test. And so SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and has a time frame. So I would highly recommend that as you're setting your goals, that you run them through that, because what you don't want to do is set goals that aren't realistic or attainable for you. Okay, so at the new moon, so on Sunday evening or Monday during the Capricorn part of the new moon phase of this Capricorn new moon, set your intentions for what you want to accomplish this year. And then what else do I have? You might be restructuring things. So like I said, we have this retrograde energy with the Venus retrograde, and then we're going to go into a Mercury retrograde mid-month. So right after the new year, we're already going to be feeling that Mercury retrograde energy kind of building up. So it's a good time to look backwards when you look forward, and then in your intentions, just kind of think about what you intend to rework, what you intend to refresh in your life. It's a good time to really evaluate things, and you'll be you have this Capricorn energy. It's practical in nature, so you'll probably have more access to being practical in your life with this particular sign. And we have quite a few planets in Capricorn as well, just kind of helping you ground and be really realistic about what you want to do. And then set intentions around how you want to adapt in a practical way to 2022. So, I guess I'm trying to make the difference between coping with something that we're waiting to end and get back to normal versus adapting and really just looking at, long-term or permanent change for how we're going to just deal with how we live with the pandemic. So maybe think about those things and set intentions around how you're going to do that, especially if you find yourself resistant to it. If you find yourself really just trying to get back to how things were, and some things probably won't go back. And so this would be a really good time to set intentions or how you're going to do that, or even to be open to that. Like if you're really resistant, this would be a good time to set intentions for allowing yourself to be open to accepting this change, embracing change.
Yeah, even if you don't know how, right? Just
Yep. That's the
just
first step.
just stating the intention. Yeah.
Exactly. If you just can't go there yet, set the intention to be open to it so that 2022 can be accessible for moving forward, even if it's not in the way that you want it to be, or it's not in the way that it used to be. I think we all just want to move forward and not feel like, I'm stuck at home for X amount of months, but when it's over, we're going to go back to whatever. It's time to just maybe set that aside and come up with a different kind of strategy.
Yeah, good advice.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Well,
Are we anything else?
I know you have to jump off.
Yeah.
I do have some other ideas, and I have some journaling prompts, and I'm going to put all of that in the blog, so I will link to that below and you can get more information there.
Yay.
So yeah, happy new year, happy new moon in Capricorn, and there's a lot of stuff going on this month, and I have information on all of those things from an astrological perspective on my
really
website.
Interesting.
Yes, and definitely sign up for my email to get the special offer on goal setting. And then how can they get in touch with you, Annabelle, if they want to talk to you more about health coaching?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of specifically the essential oils, those can be purchased through me from anywhere in the world. So you get a discount by buying them through me. I can give you some tailored advice in terms of which oils would be most suitable for you and your needs, both emotionally and physically. And then in terms of health coaching, you can contact me at annabelle@bellabefree.com. You can also have a look at my website, bellabefree.com. And I offer 10-week programs where we get you from feeling kind of bloated and not really comfortable in your own body and a bit, not feeling quite right with yourself to getting you feeling beautiful and happy and peaceful and fulfilled, and your digestion working well, which has a huge influence also over your mood. So those are programs that I do, that I offer 20-minute free connect calls for anyone who wants to just learn a little bit more. So I wish everyone great 2022. May it bring us all more peace, more fulfillment, more happiness, and good health.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Laurie. Take care.
Okay, you too. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye.
Bye.